Okay.
Absolutely not. Start that over.
I messed my phone up. I dropped my phone. All right. No, wait. Fuck it. Crap. Okay. It's the movement. Welcome. Okay. Time to start. Hi, guys. Episode 9. 8.
It's episode 8.
Son of a bitch. Episode 8, you guys.
Do you want me to start this
Yeah,
off?
go for it.
That was so bad. All right.
Go ahead.
Are
do
you
your
sure?
thing. Yeah, we're good. I'm sweating.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to episode 8 of The Movement. Welcome. I am Courtney McManus here, your co-host.
I am Moose, your friendly neighborhood Moose. Episode 8.
And we are here to make moves.
Let's do it!
All day long.
Yeah.
Today we're actually here to talk about the evil underbelly of real estate. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, Batman.
The trenches. we had someone write in last week. My friend John Rieger from college, he wrote in and he sent us some really good questions that we could kind of topics, I guess, that we can cover. So
Yeah, let's go over them.
Johnny wants to know.
Johnny wants to know. Johnny wants to know.
Are you good?
Okay, all right.
Johnny wants to know the common obstacles that people face when starting their career in real estate.
Johnny wants to know. So common obstacles that we were facing in real estate with the start.
When you're starting out your real estate career.
What was your biggest obstacle?
Well, the biggest thing for me, and I think for most people, is the financial aspect of it. People don't realize when you are getting a real estate license. Like, I have people reach out to me all the time, and they're like, "Hey, Courtney, I'm gonna go take my real estate test and get my real estate license." And I'm like, "All right, do you have $2,000 to get that started? Because that's more than likely what it's going to cost you after everything is all said and done." It's a little under $2,000 to get your real estate career up and running, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. They think you can just kind of go get your license and start selling real estate, and it's unfortunately not
Okay,
that
so
easy.
break it down for the people. When you say that, like $2,000, would you say, like, how much were your classes?
So I think my real estate course was around like $500, $700, something like that, and that included the book too. And then when you go to take the exam, it's a 2-part exam, so both parts are $50. So if you fail one part and you pass the other part, all you got to do is take the part that you didn't pass, but you still got to pay the extra $50 every single time you go. So it's going to run you a couple $100 if you don't pass on the first time, which most people don't.
Right. Did you? I didn't pass on the first time. Did you?
It took me like 4 times to finally, and like I said in the last time, I got into law school. I'm not a dumb girl, but it's hard because what they do is it's multiple choice. So they'll do like all the right answer, and you have to choose the most right answer. It's stupid, but whatever, it is what it is.
No, I hear you. And $2,000 is not a lot. Wow, it is a lot of money, and not a lot of people have that. So
for sure.
Wow. I think one of my biggest obstacles that when I ran into was not necessarily, the money, the financial aspect, because that certainly was a problem.
Right.
But it was getting business, getting leads, and like choosing a brokerage.
Yeah, so those are the big things when you're starting your real estate career: is the financing, who your broker is going to be, and how you're going to market yourself. I think those are probably the top three kind of big things to keep in consideration when you're getting your real estate license. So finances, you're going to be paying for your license and your class, like we already talked about.
Yep.
You're going to be paying to join a brokerage. A lot of brokerages charge like a $200 startup fee plus, whatever else they charge for their marketing materials, blah, blah, blah. So you got to pay to join a brokerage.
Isn't it required by law to have that cost to join a brokerage? Because you
have to be signed on with a brokerage before you get your real estate license. So when they send you your license, it already has the brokerage name on it.
Right. So that's one thing. We could even just stop there. When you get your license, you then have to join a brokerage. You can't just get your license and be like, all right, I'm going to start practicing real estate tomorrow.
Yeah, you have to choose what company you want to work with, and that's a whole nother section to go down.
Yeah. It's like choosing a bag. No, it's not.
Prada or Gucci?
Yeah. I was going more like Walmart, plastic, or brown paper. But, there's all these different options that you can have, and a lot of these are good options. Like, what makes that Walmart bag not as great as that's Target
Well,
bag.
I'll tell you what makes Yellow Brick a Gucci bag.
Ooh.
That's all I'm here to talk about.
Yellow Brick.
Yellow Brick
Show
does help a lot of their agents with those fees getting up and running because they realize that it is really expensive, especially for younger kids closer to our age that are getting up and running. So they cover that. Also, when you're getting your real estate license, you also have to cover your errors and emissions insurance. We talked about that in the last episode. Yep. Yellow Brick pays that for us. A lot of agencies don't. I forget how much. It's a couple $100. I forget off the top of my head exactly how much it is, but that's also a big thing you got to pay for too as well. And then your marketing. If you want to buy flyers, if you want to buy Facebook ads, if you want to buy a big ass billboard and put your face on it and let everyone know you're going to be on HGTV House Hunters, you can pay for that too. So there's a bunch of different things to consider when you're starting a real estate career.
Yeah, so you do have a lot of initial startup costs, but a lot of people again don't see past the money that they have to spend in order for the money that they have to make. So again, that's even the mindset change that you're going to have to go through as a new individual who is honestly your own business. As a real estate agent, as you know, you're an independent contractor. Even if you're joining that brokerage, you are still an independent contractor. So
scared money don't make no money, Moose.
That's right.
You gotta pay to play, baby.
That's right.
But it's true, and honestly, that $2,000 triple folds in your first commission check, anyway.
Hopefully, well, and this is what the crazy thing about it is. To follow that same track, the majority, I think, the number might have gotten higher. I think the number did get higher, but the last time we checked, it was like 84% of people who get their license in the first year don't renew the year afterwards.
Yeah, that is. I did hear that stat too.
A lot of people can think about it in the perspective of, well, crap, I can be a statistic and be part of that 84% and like not renew.
Right.
The way I looked at it, and I think the way you looked at it, the way the successful people have been looking at it, are, you know what? That's 84% of people that I just don't have to compete with.
Big facts.
Boom.
Big facts, and that kind of leads us into the next thing that Johnny had asked us too was, what was the timeline?
Johnny wants to know.
Johnny wants to know, what was the timeline from deciding to pursue a career in real estate to selling your first home? So that kind of leads us in. So how about you? How long did it take to actually sell your first house?
2 days now. So
you wish, bitch.
So I don't know. I feel like my track is a little different, but I was part-time first, right? So I got my license, was part-time, and was teaching, doing counseling, therapy, and coaching. And honestly, 2-3 months, because the big thing that I was doing was I was doing rentals, and I was like helping out with my fraternity brother with rentals prior to that, Mike Trent. But
rentals are still a deal, though. How many rentals did you do before your first sale?
I did a lot. I did probably like over 30 rentals
before
my first sale. Yeah.
I never did one rental before my first sale.
Yeah, that's why I was so Section 8 educated, because I should say, I have to say it now, but, without my license, I was helping my brother who had a license rent these houses out.
Your
yes, he was
fraternity brother, not your brother.
Not my real bro.
Not your real brother.
But my real bro.
Weird.
But hold on a second. Give me your phone. But so I was helping out with rentals, and we were kind of doing that whole entire thing. And like I said, prior to that, still teaching, still coaching, doing all these things. So I had this experience that I had already garnered over the years now, because I was doing that 30 rentals didn't happen a year. That happened over a period of like 4 years.
And how long did it take for you to get your first rental? I know it wasn't really. Legally, how long did it take you to get your first rental?
Legally, so during that time, I'd met an individual who had allowed me to go rent his house over on Forest Road. This is Kev Solie, and I put it up as a rental, and I got it rented within the first week.
Okay, but how long since you had your real estate license did you get that rental?
2 days. So it was probably like 2 months.
Okay.
2 months.
So 2 months of grind until you got your first deal, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So for me, I didn't do any rentals before my first sale, but it took a year till I got my first sale under my belt. I started at one brokerage and didn't really have much luck. Went to another I started one brokerage in the summertime, May of 2017. Moved over to another brokerage in probably the springtime of 2018, and that was when I got my first sale. So moving over to the other brokerage, within 2 weeks of that transition, I had my first house under deposit. So again, choose your brokerage really wisely, because it really depends on, that depends a lot on how your career is going to steer, if it's going to go in, you know,
So
good
true.
path, bad path, whatever. But there's a lot of people over at Yellowbrick that helped me get that first deal under my belt. And they walked me through it too, which is really cool, because a lot of people, they get their first deal and then they don't know what to do. There's no one there to help them, because it is a dog-eat-dog industry.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, choose your brokerage wisely. It can have a huge impact on your first deal, your last deal, whatever rentals you have going on.
And just deals in general. Like, I think, so obstacle that we were just talking about with brokerages, choosing the brokerage, you know, one of the big things about choosing a brokerage, again, if you're a newer agent, you're going to want to come in to not just a brokerage that's going to help you, but also a brokerage that has some recognition. Like if you, for instance, and that's why, you know, taking a chance with a newer brokerage, that's scary, essentially, because if you, let's say Yellowbrick went under the first 2 years and they just didn't have enough agents, and okay, now we're in this, you know, bankrupt company. William Ravis, per se, is a massive company, and a lot of people are attracted to the idea of a big company that has all the support, et cetera, et cetera. It's not like we don't.
Right.
It's just they know that more because it's a bigger company.
People have to do their research.
Exactly.
Definitely.
And when you have a sale, for instance, or someone is coming and they're a client and they're like, well, we've never heard Yellowbrick before, but we've heard of William Ravis, you're at a loss. But we are at a win because not only are we exponentially growing, we are like number 2 in all of New England
in the
for
Northeast.
Zillow Premier Brokerage.
But I think
sales.
what you said is important too. People might not recognize Yellowbrick, but it goes into the next question he asked about marketing and how we market ourselves
Right.
against large pools of top producing
Right.
agents. That's the thing, is you have to have your name stand out. You could be with whatever agency you want, but at the end of the day, people are going to hear your name.
Exactly.
They're either going to hear it or they're not. So you need to make sure that you're really getting your name out there, even if people don't know what Yellowbrick is or some of
Right.
these smaller brokerages. There's some huge top producing agents for these small companies, and people just know the agent's name, and that's fine for
You're
them.
looking at 2 of them right now.
But I think we've answered all of Johnny's questions.
Johnny, do you know? Johnny, do you know?
I think we've answered all of Johnny's questions today. We really appreciate everybody writing in. It makes these podcasts a lot easier to kind of construct.
Keep writing
them.
in. Keep asking us
Yeah,
questions.
please keep writing in. Our hope is that, you know, when people have these crazy things happen to them, either in their houses or any type of, you know, home experiences, that we're the first ones that they think of. We want them to be thinking like, hey, I got to share this with the movement, because then they're going to share it on their podcast. So
That's right.
definitely keep us in mind, especially during the holidays, if you guys have any crazy family things going on. And I'm sure we'll have some good stories for you guys after the holidays too.
Can't
as well.
wait.
So keep us in mind. Thank you for tuning in to episode 8 of The Movement. And like, subscribe, comment, share, tell your friends, make moves all week long. Woo!
Make moves, baby!
We're out.